I was just trying to warm up. All right, let's do it. All right, so today we are hopping into Lake. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. My name is J. Michael.
And I'm Nikki.
We always forget to introduce ourselves. So we're going to start doing it. We keep seeing comments. And today we're hopping into Lake Ashton with Marjorie. Hello, Marjorie. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, Madre.
Very nice. Very nice to be on camera with you guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, appreciate it. So Lake Ashton, we're going to hop into location. You guys probably know the drill by now, but we're going to hop into location. We're going to talk about an overview of the community. We're going to talk about the finances. Everybody always wants to know this. Price range, HOA, CDD, all the good stuff. We're going to take a little tour of the community via video, talk about some of the amenities. We'll hop into FAQs at the end, and then we'll greet you goodbye.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So, Justin, if we want to start with the map. So people always want to know close proximity, shopping, dining, hospitals is a big one, and then a little bit of an overview in terms of its location to, Orlando, Tampa, beaches, things like that, closest airport.
Yeah,
So,
and even unique things in your area because you're in the Lake Wales and the Lake Wales area there.
Yes, correct. So I'm just going to start off like we are right in the middle between Lake Ashton and also the next community that we are going to talk about later on, Traditions, are kind of like right in the middle between Tampa and Orlando. And that goes for the neighboring city, Lakeland, as well. So we're on the I-4. However, Lake Ashton and Winter Haven is just a little bit off of the I-4, whilst Lakeland is right on the I-4. And obviously, with the location, it brings you very close to all the Disney and all the parks close by. That is about a 40-minute or so drive from Lake Ashton and the next community that we're going to talk about. You are within a mile of very good shopping, the normal Publix, Walmart, and then close to Legoland as well, actually just about 2 miles from Legoland, which is off of Cypress Gardens Boulevard. Now, the road that leads up to the main entrance of Lake Ashton is called Thompson Nursery Road. And the road parallel to that, to the north, is called Cypress Gardens Boulevard. And that's kind of like the main drag into Winter Haven. So you are more in Winter Haven than actually in Lake Wales, which is rather a small little town, I want to call it. But a big part of Lake Ashton, of the community, actually falls into Lake Wales. And that's the interesting part about the community. It is actually situated in two different cities. The one part in Lake Wales to the east, and then Winter Haven to the west of the community. So interesting fact. So you are kind of like in two cities at once while you are in Lake Ashton in the community.
Very nice. And then you've got good medical nearby and
Absolutely. There is various
I'm so sorry.
The hospital off of 27 is very close by. Winter Haven itself has got a really good hospital and a women's clinic. And then obviously Lakeland, which is just about 35 minutes from there, has got the large Lakeland Regional Hospital, the Watson Clinic with all the necessary specialists that you can find and think of. And Lakeland also has got a veterans facility. So that makes it really convenient so that you don't need to travel to either to Orlando or Tampa, actually, if you are a veteran and are in need of some medical care.
Oh, good. That's good to know. And then restaurants and stuff, there's plenty outside the gates. And I know you're going to cover what's in the gates.
Right. So outside of the gates, obviously, because of the location of Legoland, it brings in all the normal retail kind of like businesses and chain restaurants. But then inside of Winter Haven itself, there is obviously beautiful little restaurants and mom and pop places. For just to mention a few is, for instance, Nutwood, the Crazy Greek, and then also Arabella's, which is a very famous Italian restaurant, and they serve beautiful gourmet foods, Italian style. So quite a few places to visit. In Winter Haven, they have a weekly farmers market. They have antique shops, and of course, on the Lake Wales side, you have Bok Tower Gardens, which is like a landmark for many people. A lot of people in the community would often volunteer in. Especially over Christmas time when they decorate the main estate home. It's beautifully done, and it is really, something that you need to visit.
Yes, that's a well-known area for sure.
Well, I have to say, I think Lake Wales, just that whole area, people don't realize how close it is to South Orlando. So like you said, it's 40 minutes away from Disney. Leesburg is 40 minutes away from Disney. So really, just in terms of location, you're surrounded by lakes. It's affordable. It's a great area. And then it's like you can easily get to Orlando. You can easily get to Tampa. It's such a great spot if you're kind of in between and want access to, beaches in Tampa, things like that. It's such a good spot.
And the other beauty is you feel like you're in the countryside. Mm-hmm. However, you are, as you have mentioned, so close to the shopping and the airports and whatever, that you need. So you can have literally the best of both worlds.
What's really standing out to me, Marjorie, is all the lakes. Holy, that's a lot of water.
Yes, so Winter Haven is known for its chain of lakes, and a lot of the communities have got lakes in the community itself with boat slips, and then, obviously fishing and motorized activities off those lakes, or just plain fishing if depends on which lake you are. And then the chain of lakes is obviously well known for its connecting lakes. So a lot of people will just put their boat into one lake and then just take a whole day trip through all the different lakes, and there's different restaurants like the harbor side and stuff like that on these lakes. So they make a whole day trip of boating on these connecting lakes.
That's awesome.
That sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like something we should go do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and maybe we'll throw some B-roll on top of this, but I shot a house down there, and it was on a lake, and it blew my mind how many bass there were. They were nesting. Yes. And I took the drone up and looked down, and it was like every 5 feet there was a nest, and you could see these fish swimming in and out of them. It was insane.
Ooh, that looks cool. That sounds cool.
Yeah, we'll
have to throw that out.
Yeah,
fishing's a big thing in the center of the state, the bass fishing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Well, let's hop into some information about Lake Ashton. In terms of like an overview of the community, how many homes are there? What are the size of homes? Build dates, builder, all that good, fun information.
Okay, so the community started off in the early 2000s, I want to say, and there's currently about 1,700 homes in the community. Those homes have they have just finished building out the whole community, so new construction has just stopped. They've sold the last lots, I think, about a month or so ago. Mm-hmm. So they are just finishing out the last clients, finishing up with them. And I don't know what the future will be for those sales staff, but certainly there's nothing more to buy as to new construction. So the price ranges are from, I'd say, the 170,000 for the lowest. Those were smaller homes that were kind of like built off of Thompson Nursery Road on Aberdeen Lane, and they range from about, I want to say about 1,200 square feet up to like 1,400 square feet, but they have built very few of those since it wasn't that popular at the time, and they haven't continued building those really small floor plans. Then they have a small section with condo style homes, but I want to say there's about, I think, 30 or so units, and they really become available for sale, those condos, and they also in like the 199s, somewhere around there. And then the rest of the homes, mostly in the Lake Wales section at least, were built in like 2006 up to 2009, I want to say. And then a smaller section of in the Winter Haven side were developed at the same time. Those were all part of phase 1 and 2. And then they have recently finished in phase 3.
Very nice.
So what else can I tell you?
What's the highest price point? So you're looking at 170 for the small home. What's your largest and most expensive home?
Okay, so there's an interesting part in the community where they have actually got RV garages connected to the homes.
Oh.
Not necessarily a big home per se, maybe around 1,800 square feet, but they have got these large RV garages attached to it. And it's also a smaller section of the community, but very interestingly so. And those homes are the most expensive. They go into the 500s, high 500s, I want to say.
Well, that's a unique niche for sure, is the folks that RV around the country and then they want a nice space for it.
And yes, and a base,
Yes, that's nice.
The other thing for people that don't want to own some of those really expensive homes with the RV garages connected to them, there is also storage on site in Lake Ashton. So that makes it very helpful for people that just buy a normal home and then still, want to store their RV in the storage facility that's on site. And they also have boat slips and also boat storage.
Oh.
And you can choose between covered or uncovered storage.
Cool.
Nice.
I would take one of those, and I wouldn't have an RV, but I would just use the garage.
Yes, a lot of people have converted those garages into huge, especially classic car, collectors.
Yes.
They have changed it into very interesting spaces.
Yes,
That's cool.
And that's unique because there's not very many of our communities that offer that.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
This is the one that everybody wants to know. HOA.
Okay. So I usually try and explain the HOA because it seems very confusing to a lot of people, especially in Lake Ashton when they first visit, because there's not just a normal HOA like typically in the other communities. So this is called a CDD community. Now, the easy way for me to explain that is to kind of like how I would explain it to myself. And I would say, once the developer started the community, he wanted to make sure that he didn't use all his, resources to go into the facilities per se. So, to build the beautiful roads, the beautiful clubhouses, the beautiful golf courses, which there are 2 of. And so he decided to sell bonds to the city. So the city has, in effect, putting all those infrastructure on his behalf. And in return, he sold bonds to the city. So obviously now every owner will have to pay his part of that bond when they live in the community. Now, roughly put, and this is a 2-fold fee. So one part is called the maintenance fee, and it runs around $1,800 per year. And then also a lot debt bond part, which is around $1,200 per year. So all in all, you can budget for around $3,000 per year that you have to pay towards the city as an additional tax called a CDD fee. Now, typically, an HOA fee would have taken care of, say, for instance, your lawn, give you basic cable, internet, stuff like that. However, now that you are paying kind of like your HOA fee towards the city, you do not have a monthly HOA fee. And those services that are kind of like private services to you, like your lawn, like your basic cable, will be for your own account. So if you average it out, I want to say it's about $270 that you need to budget on top of your property taxes for this CDD fee. But there's no monthly HOA fee, except for a small nominal fee of $60, which is purely administrative, and you pay that also on an annual basis.
I'll be
$60
darned.
annual. Wow.
That's unique too.
Yeah.
And thank you for that way of explaining it, Marjorie. I hadn't heard of it explained that way, and that was a very nice way to do it.
Beautifully
For
done.
me, it was difficult to understand it initially when I started in the community, because it sounded so, strange to me. And then someone explained this to me in the same terms as I have explained it to you now. And it just works for people. They just normally just get it,
Well, I think part of the confusion with the CDD community is then people think, well, why am I paying off the builder's loan? And it's not that in this case. And then it's just part of the math. So that's all you have to know is what your math is. This is what your fees are, and then you can add up your own other expenses like cable and lawn care, and you can do your own lawn care for that matter. And then really boil down to your monthly cost, because most of our customers are fixed income, and it's important to them. So, and that's why we use great agents that know this fabulous stuff, so it makes it easier for our customer base to understand. So thank you for that.
So and then also, obviously, the golf, you don't need to belong to the golf course. So it is a private golf course, and you can sign up for a family or a seasonal package, and they have different tiers of that package, to pay for that. So and it runs around, I want to say, about $5,000 or so per year for a family package.
Yep.
Cool.
And again, for golfers, just do the math. It may make sense, or you can just pay as you play if you're not going to go every day of the week or something like that.
Exactly. They have different kinds of packages that they have, started, especially since the community has taken over the golf courses from the developer.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Is there a restaurant with that golf course then?
Yes, actually, there's two restaurants on site. One is a private restaurant in the main clubhouse, which I always call kind of like the social activities kind of like clubhouse. The other clubhouse is more geared towards health and fitness, with a large gym and an indoor pool. But the social activities clubhouse has got the outdoor pool and then also the private restaurant.
Well,
they are
Michael,
open about, I think, about 6 or so days out of the week. And you can have either breakfast, lunch, or dinners there.
Nice.
Well, that's
and then
perfect.
there's a second restaurant, which is on top of the pro shop, and it's just a normal barbecue restaurant, an American barbecue restaurant, and it's kind of like, it's called the Eagle's Nest because of its great view over the golf course and just in general Lake Ashton. And then at that barbecue restaurant, it's kind of like the 19th hole, so people will hang out after a round of golf and just enjoy a drink and the great view.
Yep. And
it sounds like they offer a ton of stuff for 1,700 homes.
Yes, well, they also have a little bowling alley. So I've kind of segued into the community, and I'm sorry about that. I kind of came through out of the typical format because we would say, okay, now we're going to go through the community. So we've started.
Right.
Yeah, let's hop into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of water. There's
can
that
hit
big
play.
lake to...
Justin, you can play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Marjorie. You can start cheerleading for the community. Tell us a little bit about what we're seeing, and then I'm sure Justin's got, footage of inside those fabulous spots too.
Right. So I'm thinking this footage was taken from the main clubhouse. Yes, it is, because there's a tennis courts on the right-hand side, and then obviously the big lake, Lake Ashton. Across from the lake, you can see in the distance if you look kind of like northeast, you can see the boat slips over there. Yes, that's correct. That's where the boat slips are located. And then you have access to the lake there. Beautiful facilities, large meeting room as is now shown on the camera, and even a small movie theater. I'm thinking it's going to come up pretty soon. Yes, there we go. A small movie theater. They show 3 movies a week. One is normally a very recent release, and then also they show a documentary, and then also an oldie or a classic.
Nice.
In the bowling alley, you don't even need to have your own shoes. You just, use and bring back.
I've actually played in that bowling alley.
Awesome.
How'd you do?
So the only days that you cannot use the bowling alley is on days that they are playing league. So, but for the other days, you can bring the grandkids and enjoy, a round of bowling.
That's fun. That's really fun.
The boat slips is unique too. There's not very many of our 55 plus communities that have boat access like that.
Right.
Ooh,
So that's the craft room, and there's a very active group of ladies that does quilting together. They make beautiful little blankets for orphans and hospitals. They've got a good-sized library with obviously computers that you can use. That's the restaurant on site. They have a full bar, and they also serve out onto the pool deck side of the clubhouse. There we go.
Ooh, that's beautiful. That's gorgeous.
And then the outdoor pool is overlooking that gorgeous lake, and it's a great spot to bring the grandkids.
I do have to say something real quick. Everyone is always so curious why there's no one in these shots. We try to go at off hours because otherwise we have to get a bunch of permission from people.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, so don't think it's not an active community. It is very active.
Beautiful.
Very
photos.
active veterans memorial group that get together and do beautiful functions. And you can see the beautiful manicured gardens at the back with that garden chess set to the left of the from my view from the swimming pool. They also have, they actually allow people to walk on the golf course after hours. So there's an active walking group that walks together. And it's quite a few miles that you can get in actually as a walking group when you walk the trails.
And there's the pro shop. Is the restaurant, the Eagle's Nest, on top of that?
On top. That is correct.
Cool.
That is correct. And then they also have trivia nights. They have Taco Tuesdays, karaoke evenings. So it's a lively spot.
Beautiful.
And that is actually overlooking the 18th hole. Beautiful little dog park. They've actually got 2 dog parks in the community. This one is on the Winter Haven side that you are showing on the footage. So yes, that is the second clubhouse with the that's more geared towards health and fitness, and they also have all the pickleball courts on that side of the community. A large indoor pool in that clubhouse. Heated, and they have various instructors, also a small library. It's kind of like a replica of the other building, also with a meeting room, similar things. So it will depend on which side of the community you are at, where you will do most of your stuff. Card rooms.
And how many homes total did we say?
I think it's about 1,700 or so homes now that they are finally built
for that
out.
Many homes.
Yes. So indoor basketball. They have a racquetball court.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's crazy.
Beautiful.
And no HOA. What the heck is happening?
Yeah, that is kind
Well,
of
people
crazy.
still think, for some or other reason, people still think, because maybe they don't understand what the CDD is, that it's an expensive community to live in. But I mean, all these facilities are paid by your CDD fee, and you have full access to all of these facilities. So,
Marjorie, does it include then the management company?
they do not have a management company. The CDD is managed by, I want to say it's like a government institution.
So they with the sort of your, do you have a board of directors for the homeowners?
Yes, correct. Yes.
I see.
So you can actually click on the link. I normally send the link of Lake Ashton to some of my people that are, already buying. And you can actually talk to the CDD part of, the management part of the community, and they can actually give you great, information about what would typically be a payoff amount if you wanted to pay off the lot debt bond part of the CDD fee. And sometimes you will see that on a listing that says, the CDD
paid.
bond part is already paid. So that cuts away already around $1,200 per year. But typically the maintenance part cannot be paid off. That will be there for the life of the community to look after the community.
Of course.
And
Yeah,
that's
the
the $1,800 annually.
Correct.
That's so affordable. I'm sold.
Yeah,
I'm moving.
That's a beautiful community. I do have to say, and this is one of the greatest reasons to have knowledgeable agents in these communities, especially about the area around it, but also within the community. So as you're choosing communities, you can be super comfortable that you're working with somebody that knows the ins and outs. That was a gorgeous photography, Justin.
Thank you.
Hands up to Felix, to Justin.
Hands
Nice
up to
job.
Felix and Justin.
Yeah.
All right, this is the getting close to the end of the video where we ask frequently asked questions. Mine's always the same. Actually, we switched seats. You want to switch questions?
Yes.
Go for it.
And I won't tell that dumb joke
You
again.
kick it off.
So do they allow fences? Everybody
No, they
wants
do
their
not allow
pets,
fences.
their furry pets.
Say again. Sorry.
So they do not allow fences. However, your pets are welcome, typically two traditional pets per household. But unfortunately, they do not allow fences. But, you've got the beautiful doggy parks. And, as long as you keep your dog on leash, they are pretty much welcomed,
All right. That was my question.
Cool. All right. My question is, does Lake Ashton have natural gas?
No, they do not. But some homes have opted to put in a gourmet kitchen and then have a buried propane tank. But obviously, you'll have to have the necessary permission to do that. But no, they do not have natural gas.
All right. So what
See
what
how
do
I
you
see
find
how
out?
I asked that question
Yes,
without
it's
making
very
a
simple.
fart joke?
You just made a fart joke. I'm sorry, Explore 55 plus people. We really are, though. So seriously, though, as far as other frequently asked questions that you get, do you have any that you get a lot?
Yes, when people look at the MLS listings, they will say, "Oh, it's so expensive. Look at the terrible taxes. It's so high." But they do not realize that in that tax kind of like data entry field on the MLS, it actually pulls the full tax bill into that data entry field. So it counts the property taxes plus your CDD fee, which is actually a non-ad valorem tax towards the city together. So that kind of like, puts a different spin on that amount that people actually see.
So in other words,
it can be
don't
really
worry.
confusing. The next confusing step about just looking at an MLS listing without it being explained to a customer is the fact that, obviously some homes are homesteaded and some are not homesteaded. So that brings another dimension to that data entry field for property taxes. So if it's not homesteaded, obviously you don't have the benefit of that tax break or discount for declaring this home as your primary residence. So I always need to explain that data entry field to people.
Very nice.
Cool. When we've done some stuff on taxes, really all of Florida, it goes above, below, but it hovers around 1%. So typically you're looking about $1,000 annually per $100,000 purchase on your home, give or take. I don't know exactly off the top of my head what
So I think it's closer to 1.5%, but you are kind of like in the right ballpark figure in any ways.
Well, and also, and I'm not sure everybody knows that when you move to Florida and count us as your primary residence, we do have a homestead exemption. So you get $50,000 for a couple, $50,000 off the value of the house times the the multiplier for your taxes, whatever the millage rate is.
Millage rate, yeah.
Yeah, and so then you get that discount. There's also other discounts that you can get on your property taxes, depending upon if you're, a veteran and widow, and
This is all this is all good stuff when you're getting serious to have that conversation with an agent.
Yeah, which is why we have great agents. Anything else from Audrey?
I just wanted to tell you that, it's so easy to look up this information as well. And I always send the link and a little explanation to my clients about property taxes. You can literally look up each property's current property taxes for the past 4 years, plus that CDD fee that is very important to people to see, was a bond paid off as yet? Where am I now with the bond payment? How much is my maintenance part? What city I fall in. And that is very easy to look up any property is by just going to www.pokepa.org and then, follow the steps for property search. And you can literally look up any property in Polk County via that link, and it will give you a wealth of information.
That's awesome.
Even on top of the page, there is a very helpful button where you can actually estimate your potential future property taxes.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
Yeah,
very
really
good.
Cool.
We can tell you're numbers oriented, Marjorie.
I'm not actually. I'm a really big picture person, so it's more about relationships, but I had to learn, to also help my clients that are more detail oriented.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. And of course, we hope that the folks that are watching this will reach out to you, Marjorie, through our website, explore55plus.com. And of course, they can email or call us. Anything else, J. Michael?
You nailed the outro. Thank you, Marjorie.
Thank you. It was lovely talking to you.
Yes, you too. All right.
Beautiful.
That was perfect.